am not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, I've watched a ton of North Carolina State basketball, or even Purdue for that matter. One of the biggest facts that I know about Zach Edey and Purdue this year is that he hit his first career 3 against Indiana this year, and Max loves to point that out.
Well, plus the story, too, about Burns and his team, being kind of like, Cinderella underdog and stuff. That always helps out.
Is it Benson for Alabama? The white boy?
Oh, that's great. The white boy. That's Grant Nelson.
Grant Nelson, yeah. Thank you. He's been fun to watch.
Really? Only in that one game,
No,
though?
I don't think so, because if I
didn't get to watch a ton of the Alabama-Clemson game.
I like watching basketball off the ball.
Okay. Fair.
Right? I like watching basketball off the ball. It's fun to see what they're doing with it, but when you watch what that young man's doing down low against, I think, better competition than what he is, and the way he's able to move and get, if you see him at the end of the game, he is wiped.
Yeah.
It's because he never stops.
Yeah. And
I respect that 100%. And the way that he took over in that game the other night was absolutely astounding. It was so fun to watch.
That was impressive, what he did in the game against North Carolina. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to leave it in the hands of AG and Caveman Rick. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. Just remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I. Y'all have a great evening.
ESPN Northwest Florida is taking you on the ultimate road trip to see the Orlando Magic. Is this Connie Sisk?
Yes.
Congratulations, Connie. You won the Holland Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express.
Oh, okay, cool.
Are you ready for a trip of a lifetime?
Yeah, well, at least my husband is anyway. I entered it for him.
You and your husband will watch the game from a presidential suite.
Oh, okay, cool.
Congratulations from ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. For tonight, clear skies and a low of 55 with a gentle breeze at 11 miles per hour out of the northwest. Tomorrow morning, sunshine with temps around 63. In the afternoon and evening, sunny with a moderate breeze and a temperature near 68. Moving into Friday, up at the same with a high of 70 and sunshine. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
At Creative Gems, we believe every piece of jewelry tells a story of love, legacy, and the art of fine craftsmanship. Family owned with every detail crafted on site in Panama City, Florida, we invite you to experience more than just shopping. It's a journey to remember. Come visit us online at creativegemsinc.com or in our showroom on Jenks Avenue, open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Creative Gems.
With 64 games in the books, UConn, Purdue, NC State, and Alabama now converge on Phoenix with just 2 more wins needed to claim the 2024 NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Tune in this Saturday to hear Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Final Four.
Coverage starts Saturday at 2 on your home for the NCAA College Basketball Tournament on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
We don't sell the steak.
You can stir this all up.
We sell the sizzle. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Very spicy.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back, and you are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm AG Adam Goff along with Caveman Rick. Dave had to leave us for today, but we're going to take you home. Let me tell you a little bit about ESPN Northwest Florida presents Wrestling Against Cancer 9. That is Saturday, April 27th at the Bay Haven Charter Academy. That's 2501 Hawks Landing Boulevard, Panama City, Florida, 32405. If you want to check them out on Facebook, check it out for tickets. All proceeds going toward a worthy cause, helping out a young person battling with some cancer. It's all proceeds are going to Mr. Jaden and his medical expenses. So make sure you get out there and check it out. I believe Dave is going to be on leading the charge there on the microphone, Rick.
Yeah, he's going to be like the MC, ring announcer guy, and it should be a great time. He's done it before, so come out and see him. Pack, Bayhaven out, and Jack Patterson's even said, if it's standing room only, he'll give discounts out on tickets, probably. So.
Oh, there you go. Well, I hope that's the case, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Hope
that's the whole point, right?
100%.
If you can't make it, too, I'm sure you can still make a donation.
Yeah, check him out. Check Jack Patterson out on Facebook or Wrestling Against Cancer, and link up that way. So Rick, your Phillies and my Reds battling.
Not right now. Rain delay. I just looked at the radar, actually. Probably in the next 30 minutes, I would imagine maybe they'll get back on it. Looks like the bad weather is just fixing to push out.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll start up here and, get that rest of that game in. So we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so, man, because it's tough with the way the season. Like, I think one of the negative things about everybody playing everybody now with the new balanced scheduling is it's so much harder to get some of these early games made up if there's a weather issue.
No doubt.
Particularly if it's like granted, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, not too far away geographically, but, if this was Philadelphia and the Angels or,
right.
Seattle or something like that, then yeah, it's a lot harder because there's only 20 days off in a season, right? Which sounds like a lot, but in the course of 162 games, it's really not a lot of days off. So
when you talk, like 6 months of a season or something like that, I mean, that's like, a couple days off a month. That's it.
Right, and then finding a day off for each of them that can coincide where they can get it done in a quick and easy manner.
Yeah, and I mean, who wants to play double headers? I mean, sometimes they're great to go to and watch them, too, but also when it's like 100 degrees out,
I miss the natural doubleheader, man. I mean, now they do these staggered doubleheaders where they clear it out, and then there's a 2-hour gap, and then they come back and play. Just go, right? I want to. If it's a double header, if a game starts at 1:00, the next game should start like 30 minutes after the previous.
Now, I've never been to those, so like when they do those now, though, are they doing that? You think so that they could sell tickets like separate
100%.
tickets? Yeah, and allow different crowds.
But it used to be where it was like, okay, we're going to play 2 today. All right, soon as the last out is made, everybody goes back, gets reset, they come back out, play ball.
Game on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's play ball.
Now they can't do that anymore because they're all making $70 million a game.
So. Yeah, I know, right? Back when everybody was making nothing, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. Well, Bryce Harper, getting off the schneid, 3 homers last night, including a grand slam against my Cincinnati Reds.
6 RBI?
Yes, 6 RBIs.
There.
Yeah. What's it going to take for him to be the MVP this year?
For him to be the MVP this year, one, he's got to stay healthy. Obviously, he's had some problems with that the last few years. Outside of that, I think that's just it, other than the rest of the team behind him needs to, play really well, too. Mm-hmm. We've had stretches where we've had, kind of streaky guys. Like right now, I guess I got to say our probably weakest link in normal starters like Alec Boehm. If we can get that guy right, where he's not just, making boneheaded plays or just kind of like just doing dumb stuff, I think we'd be doing a lot better, to be honest with you. But outside of that, I mean, like I said, we got a great home field. We got a lot of, we got great fans. People don't like coming and playing, here at our house. We got a murder's row of a lineup. We got some great pitching. Again, like, bullpen's always kind of been our woes for a while.
It's got to make you feel good that you see the Marlins start off winless. The Mets are the Mets early.
Well, they're the Mets. I'm not worried about them.
Right, but you still got to think that they weren't going to have this kind of start to their season too, right?
Actually,
so
I'm not really worried.
As of right now, and the Nationals, they lost 2 or 3 to us in Cincinnati. So that division right now, I mean, granted it's early, it looks like it's just going to be Phillies Braves running away with it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what everybody was thinking at the start. That's what I was thinking, going into this year. It's going to be a 2-horse race. It's just going to be, can the Braves keep going and keep doing what they've been doing the last few years during the regular season? And if that happens and they're playing meaningless games at the end of the season, we'll see how that affects them. I'd rather play, somewhat meaningful games and be somewhat behind where each game matters and we're actually trying every game. And, you go into the playoffs, with that mindset and used to playing like playoff baseball, just like teams in other sports that are fighting to make the playoffs, they make a little run. They usually fare better in the playoffs than a team that's, been kind of idle for like quite a while, having an easy run of it, an easy go of it.
What'd you make of the pitcher last night? Coming in, was 40 minutes late because of traffic?
Actually, I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes late.
Got called up,
and then he did 4 innings, and maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe get your mind off of things instead of sitting around warming up and having all this stuff in your head. Instead, you're thinking, I got to hurry up. I got to get to the game. I got to hurry up. So you're not thinking about the actual game itself and what you got to do in the game. It's all about just getting there and getting, into the bullpen or into the dugout. So maybe that helps. I don't know. I think myself in some of the stuff that I've done better in some sports stuff like bowling and stuff, for instance, if my mind isn't on the actual, the thing I'm trying to do.
The act.
Yeah, the act of actual bowling. Like I think I told the story, you might have been here a few weeks back, but I was like feeling ill, had some stomach issues. All I can do was just get up,
Did you have the Jordan flu game?
No, well, I mean, I guess in a way, but all I know is like I was feeling so bad that when I got up to bowl, all I could do is like I just was wanting to get up there, throw one ball so I could sit back down and then just be miserable again until it was my turn, right? And going and doing that, for whatever reason, I just kept my mind right, and I had one of the best games I ever bowled in my life. So,
nice. What did you bowl?
I think in that night, I bowled like a 196, I want to say.
There you go.
Yeah, 190s. So,
that's nothing to sneeze at, man.
Now, I've only had
hard.
Like a handful of games, like 4 games over 200, so or like right around there. So,
yeah, bowling's hard. We actually had a bowling class in college, and actually learned quite a bit about bowling. We used to bowl back in the day before that, but I got up to like a 165, 170 average, something like that, which I think is respectable.
Oh yeah, that's good. That was pretty much my average.
Yeah.
At the time when I was bowling pretty regularly.
Yeah,
So,
Mookie Betts is a heck of a bowler too, by the way. He's not just a great baseball player.
Jerome Bettis. I don't know if you knew about him, but he's a really good bowler. I think he's had a few 300 games in his career bowling. So that's pretty impressive. To do that. As well as being a great football player on top of that too. And Jerome Bettis, of all things, did he like himself too? He was basically like a bowling ball, a bust.
Right.
I mean, same kind of stature. And then
okay, let me ask you this: would you rather, which is worse, having a perfect game in baseball through 8 2/3, and there's an error or a hit or a walk, or you have a perfect game in bowling up until that 12th roll?
13th
roll.
Yeah, because you got 10 regular frames, and then you would get your 3 extra after that. So yeah.
So which is, and then you miss it. Which
bowling?
One's worse?
Because it's on you. If it's baseball and your outfielder drops a ball, he doesn't make a play on a catch or something like that, or somebody does catch a ground ball, doesn't make the throw to first, and the out doesn't happen. It's not on you. You still did like the vast majority of the work. Okay. In bowling, it's all you. It's one person. So if it doesn't happen, you got one person to blame. So I think that would be a little bit harder to deal with when it's yourself.
Okay, fair enough.
For me, anyways. I think somebody else, because it's easy to point the finger. Oh, I didn't get it because you dropped the ball. That's really.
But what if you walked the batter to allow them on?
Oh, well, then again, it's on me again too. I did it all myself, and that was on me. So
right, but which one's worse though?
Oh, shoot, I don't know. I would have to say probably then in that case, if I walk the batter, then it's worse in the baseball game because now I let my team down. They all could have been part of something special like a no-no that they could have been talking about forever. And because I kind of screwed up on that last out, we don't get it.
I think it's baseball because how many perfect games in bowling have there been in history?
Oh, tons.
Million, maybe?
I don't know. It just depends on the people, but yeah.
Right. In baseball, I think there's been, 29 perfect games?
Yeah, well, this is MLB as well. Now, when you're talking bowling, there's tons of, amateur people that aren't pros that, can get 300 games that bowl, on leagues, like on a Wednesday night league or whatever, like tonight. So that alone is pretty impressive, when you're not a professional, but you can do what a professional can do at your own bowling alley in your own town.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool too, I think, because how many people can actually go out to a major league ballpark and crush a home run?
Right.
Not your average person. That's why Steph Curry's so great in basketball. Guys like us can go out there and shoot 3-pointers. You can't dunk. You can't go drive the lane and go through people. We're not big enough. We're not strong enough.
I can't dunk anymore. I did in high school.
Oh, really? I could never. The closest I could get is touching the net, and I thought that was pretty cool, But, that's just stuff that normal people can't do.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, Jackson Chourio, the young phenom for the Milwaukee Brewers, signed an 8-year, $80 million deal. Hit his first home run today. Kid has looked the part in Milwaukee. I'm curious to see if the league kind of adapts to him and starts kind of pitching around him. But, I mean, he was facing the Mets in his first series, and now he's going against the Twins. Really, really like what I'm seeing from that kid. Have you had a chance to watch him yet?
I haven't. I was going to ask you, though, I mean, being, on the Brewers, what do you think is going to end up happening with the kid? I mean, we've seen guys, Yelich, Braun and stuff like that, good hitters that, did well, but really didn't flourish just because, well, it's the Brewers, and they just typically just don't go deep in the playoffs, and just, I don't want to say wasting their talent there, but I wonder if same kind of situation maybe.
Well, they're building some stuff there in Milwaukee, right? I mean, they're young pitching. I don't know what it is about Milwaukee, but they always seem to find these 3 or 4 guys that come up. St. Louis is kind of the same way with their guys as well, where they find these 3 or 4 guys that they all throw 100 miles an hour, and they have a 92-mile-an-hour slider that's just deadly. And the Brewers pitching staff is full of those guys. And they have some young talent that's on the club right now. They made the trade for Joey Ortiz from Baltimore. He's been playing relatively well. Bryce Terang is a second baseman who's probably one of, if not the best glove at second, and he's finally starting to hit. Garrett Mitchell for them is a young guy. He's always hurt. He just got hurt again. He's kind of made of glass. But Sal Frelick is young, and he's talented. So they've got a lot of good young talent there in Milwaukee. And I think Churio is going to be the guy that kind of leads the charge there because he was highly heralded, and he actually has a younger brother named Jason that plays in the Cleveland Guardians organization that is a really, really good talent as well. So I'm curious to see what happens with him the rest of the year. Obviously, I don't think he's going to continue at this pace, and he may. I mean, he's super talented, but I think as the league gets more tape on him and his tendencies and things like that, he'll come back down to earth a little bit. But he's very, very talented, and he's super young. So
let me ask you this real quick in our last minute, since I'm probably not going to turn it on. I mean, obviously, with our game being delayed, the Reds and Phillies, to actually go home and catch the rest of it. Well, I didn't watch last night's game, and look how that turned out, right?
Right.
And I watched some of all the 3 previous games against the Braves, and those didn't turn out so great.
So maybe it's you?
Well, I don't know. I was just going to say, a couple of years ago, I didn't watch a lot of the Phillies baseball just because of just kind of getting bummed out the way the Phillies been playing and stuff. And it wasn't until they about got into the playoffs I started following it, and then we had a hell of a run, And I was just thinking to myself, well, I didn't watch them a whole lot that year, and we did pretty good. Maybe I just leave the TV off and just watch the highlights or whatever, or just watch my phone for fantasy and see what happens.
Yeah, it's the Phillies are fun, man. It's a deadly lineup. You called it like a murderer's row, if you will. I don't want to go that far yet, but it's a deadly, deadly lineup, especially if you don't have a left-hander on the mound. So I'm curious to see what happens tonight. But baseball's in a good place. I think it's in the best place it's been in a long time.
We get Schwarber going where he's not just cranking home runs or striking out, and he can actually, get on base a little bit more, too. That might get kind of nasty for some teams.
Especially on that leadoff spot.
Yeah, no doubt.
But for Caveman Rick, I'm AG. You've been riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Make sure you tune in the morning, the Coach James Hale Show from 7 to 9, and then stay on from 11 to 1 for the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulligan.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the inside drive.
I was telling you before we started the show is I'm actually looking forward to a women's basketball game for the first time in my whole entire life.
And for you, I mean,